a big story on the show that we are tracking, which is Arunachal Pradesh. And once again, China has reignited tensions by releasing a provocative list, renaming places in Andhra Pradesh. A statistic, a fact that's absolutely incorrect. In fact, it's falsely said that southern Tibet is a part of China. But India's message, in fact, has been absolutely clear. On our screens, we're putting that out. Arunachal Pradesh is non-negotiable part of India. Very clear messaging that's come in from India. Arunachal Pradesh is not a bargaining chip. It is, was and will always remain an inseparable part of India. The Ministry of External Affairs did not mince its words. It called China's actions both preposterous and vain. It condemned Beijing's attempt to rewrite reality through fabricated names. Viewers, this is the fourth such list in just 8 years. We're pointing that out. It happened in 2017. It happened at several times as well earlier. 2017, 2023, or 2021 and 2025. Each move has been nothing but an escalation attempt in China's map war strategy to assert bogus territorial claims. But it's not just names, it's also water. China's mega dam that's there on the Yarlung-Jiangsu River, in fact, is just another important aspect of what it's trying to do. It's in fact called Siang in India, which many see is also another attempt to weaponize natural resources. With renaming games and dam threats, China may seek to unsettle the border. But India's stance remains unwavering. Arunachal Pradesh is not a claim, it's a fact. Before I get in some of the big questions, I'm going to put out exactly what the External Affairs Ministry said when it junked all these baseless claims made by China. Let's put that out. The statement that India released, where it very categorically said that what exactly is it that it feels the baseless claims that are there. It goes on to say vain, preposterous attempts to name places in the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. Consistent with our principal position, we reject such attempts categorically. India has been saying that again and again. But why is it that China has been making this exercise again and again? I pointed that out. Several times it has happened. And we put out those big questions as to why exactly this is happening. First up, why is China actually trying to provoke India? Why is it making the same claim again and again? Will this impact the tentative steps that both countries have taken towards normalization? It started in the last couple of months, but will that be impacted? And lastly, a big question that we are asking, can China be trusted? It comes at a time when the Operation Sindoor took place, and right after that, China has come out with these preposterous claims. Even during Operation Sindoor, Chinese messaging and position was a wake-up call for many in India. Let me now put this question to both the guests joining me on the show. Lieutenant General Rameshwar Roy, who's a defense analyst. Also joining me is Mahesh Sachdev, former ambassador. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for speaking to me on India Global today. Mr. Sachdev, let me ask you this from a diplomatic point of view. The fact that India and China, after Galwan, they had a long stretch, 4.5 years, but there was a complete both sides in terms of any diplomatic relations, there was no progress whatsoever. A thought started about 7 months back actually. Do you think that will get impacted by China's messaging, these recent efforts? One, how it took a position in favor of Pakistan during Operation Sindoor, following it up with these messaging that's coming in right now.
Thank you, Gaurie. Glad to be with you on this channel. I think you asked a very important question, and both India and China are ancient civilizations, and we do not act in a hurry. India has reacted fairly categorically, denouncing and rejecting these changes in Chinese nomenclature of the cities or towns in Arunachal Pradesh. And one should point out that Chinese language, being particularly nuanced, has no proper nouns. So a name like Gaurie cannot be written in Chinese script. It has to have a phonetic version of or equivalent, and it may become Gao or it may become something else. My name has also been very pronounced differently because it cannot be written as Mahesh Sachdev. Be as it may, Chinese current motives in this direction could be due to various reasons. Uh, I could also link it to South Asian Federation Football Cup that is taking place in Arunachal Pradesh right
Okay.
now, with Nepal, Bangladesh, and India, and another country, I think Bhutan,
Yes.
taking part. Then you also have recently concluded US-China trade talks, where Chinese seem to have got some headway by having Trump to agree to lowering the tariffs.
Okay.
So now China is back. Then again, it may be intended to keep us off balance while
No, no, sir,
we
but
have
you
had
can't.
a
No, no. I take what your
ceasefire.
point is, sir. The only thing is you can't throw India off balance by coming out with the same trick every couple of years. It's the same trick that they keep coming out with. It has, forget diminishing, it has no returns whatsoever. But I come to the other question that I asked in terms of the big questions that I put. And General Roy, I want to ask you this. Can India actually trust China? Can China be trusted by India, given what all has happened, given its repeated efforts and attempts in trying to once again peddle the same narrative again and again?
Gaurie, China can never be trusted, and our tragedy is that we have two big neighbors, one side Pakistan, one side China, and both are, I would say, in many ways, equally untrustworthy. Whatever they would say, they will just say the opposite the very next day. And in case of China, we have seen it time and again. In case of Pakistan also, we've seen it China time and again. And now that they both are together, I would always take any such statement as something, where they're trying to just indicate to us that, look, we are, sort of going to stake claims on the eastern side of India, whereas Pakistan is already into claiming the POK, and we have one kind of a crisis going on over there right now with the Op Sindoor also. So as far as I'm concerned, the Chinese always have maintained one thing, that let us leave the border issues out and carry on with the rest of the relationships. And we have always maintained that no, border issue is going to impinge on our security in times to come. Therefore, that is also part of our overall consideration as to how much can we go ahead with the China. And Ambassador is here to sort of give more views on it.
Yeah,
But
Mr.
as far as
Sachdev,
the
you want to
soldiers'
come in
views,
there, sir?
yeah. But a soldier's view is that we have balanced out both the sides and we are prepared for both these threats. We call it, we are always prepared for 2.5 front war, which means Pakistan on one side, China on the other side, and half front we give it to the terrorism which is going on in India. And therefore, we are
So
all
there is no
ready
doubt
as far
in
as
my
security.
mind, and in fact, Operation Sindoor will be, in my opinion, taken as a case study in military academies around the world. There is no doubt in my mind or that of any Indian. But my question was just around the fact that given the trust deficit that already exists between Beijing and New Delhi, come these tricks, repeated tricks, same antics. Mr. Sachdev, I want to ask you this. Given the trust deficit, do you think this will just heighten that deficit that exists between the two neighbors?
I think it would certainly do that. In any case, Chinese had no particular reasons to get into this at the current juncture, except when trying to tease us, trying to show that not only do we have differences with Mr. Trump, but we also have continuous differences with Chinese themselves. So our attempt to sort of count Mr. Trump and United States on in our corner is they try to poo-poo it. I think there might be these might be the motives, but I
Okay.
think we have done it right. We have taken a strong and strident view, rejecting it,
Yes.
and that settles the issue as far as we are
Okay.
concerned.
All right. I'm going to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on India Global. Well, viewers, bottom line, as far as this is concerned, there's nothing new as far as China's antics are concerned. Repeated tricks continued several times. The fact is, Tawang Monastery in Arunachal Pradesh is the second largest Tibetan monastery after Lhasa. It's where the 6th Dalai Lama was born, and with His Holiness, the present Dalai Lama's advanced age, the Communist Party of China is prepping to ensure that it gets to decide the next Dalai Lama, not the people of Tibet, not according to their traditions. But it cannot ignore the Tawang Monastery and the role it may play in deciding the next spiritual leader of the Tibetan people. But China cannot have what doesn't belong to it, and that is Arunachal Pradesh.